And I read about it, I'd say probably about 6 months ago. And then you know how you do, you get kind of unfocused and you go do something else. But actually, it's the way of clearing yourself, and they call it self-cleaning, where you go into the divine and you talk to whoever you believe is the universal creator, okay? And what you do is you ask, and you only have to do 4 things. You say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. And what you're doing is you're cleaning yourself from all of these thoughts that have fear or negativity or any type of attachment to not being able to function completely. Lots of times as healers and helpers, people try too hard to help another person or to heal another person. If you use this technique, what happens, it's kind of like as you cleanse yourself, everything else gets cleansed along with you. It's like ripples in a pool that once you start it, it starts rippling out. And the effects are really very dynamic. And it lowers your blood pressure, believe it or not. It makes you feel a lot better. So remember, and you can mantra this whenever you're feeling a little stressed or when an issue comes up that is a mirror to the memories of the past. That's what it is. It's as if you get mad at someone for something. There's a memory in you that comes up that you need to address and forgive and love and praise and say thank you for showing me this memory so that I recognize it and I can clear it and I don't want to have it again. And so again, you use these techniques and these words, which is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And in the Hawaiian, they use aloha, and I like that because aloha means so many other things than just I love you or hello or goodbye. It has a string of meaning. So if you choose to say aloha, that covers a lot more bases. The wonderful book that you can read more about this, Professor Lin is his name, Haleakala Lin, is written by Joe Vitale, and it's called The Zero Limits. Zero Limits, it's called, by Joe Vitale. Of course, you can get those books at Pilgrim's Way bookstore located at Dolores and 5th in Carmel, the independent bookstore. They just have the crystal skull there, Sammy.
Ooh.
Yes, Max the Crystal Skull. It was on the front part of the Herald on a Saturday, last Saturday. And I actually had met Max the Skull and his owner when I was in Sedona many, many years ago and got to hold Max. But they're coming back again in November.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going to try to have her on the show.
What's the story with the...
Crystal skulls.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody kind of knows where the crystal skulls come from. There's probably 6 or 7, and then there's supposed to be, legend has it, 12. Mm-hmm. They're buried in different parts of the world. There's supposed to be one on every continent. So henceforth 7, but then there's maybe one by every pyramid. And they're actually generators of electricity, and this is what they say, physio or physioelectricity. And this one that is Max is hand-tooled, not with any kind of, abrasive tool. So it's got a big question mark on who crafted it and how old it is and things like that. On the ones that are handmade, where people have made them maybe in the 1800s or 1600s or whatever, they started to use different kinds of materials to make them. But Max is pretty well, made out of something very ancient. And actually, it's very good luck, especially in the Mayan lore and also in the Mexican lore, is skulls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody else's lore, they're like, oh,
Bad
don't do
things.
that, that's bad. But the Day of the Dead celebrates,
Mhm.
the skull a lot. And in China, the skull is very sacred too. So, there's a lot to it, and maybe we don't know everything
Hmm.
about them.
Interesting.
Yes, there's so many interesting things. Let's go back to doing a little bit more reading for Sammy.
Alrighty.
You guys are both born in October.
And to top it off, my brother is born October 8th. His brother's born October 7th. My dad was born October 15th, and his mom is born October 17th.
Oh, wow. So you see where the karma comes in? Everybody's been around together before. Yeah, that's it. So when anybody is born in October, they are so far ahead of the time. They always think ahead. They always get inventions early, and like the clapper. I thought of that, like 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So sometimes they feel like nobody's really listening. Nobody's getting what they're talking about.
I
Do you
never feel like
that?
that. No. I only had an argument about that just today. I'm talking to myself, I said.
Yeah. And so there's different reasons why we choose our parents. I believe that we do choose our parents versus just, kind of showing up with
Yeah.
whoever.
Yeah.
So, and when you have these people in your world that also mirror you, you have to kind of say, okay, what am I supposed to learn from them?
Mm-hmm.
And this forgiveness thing is really big. And it works very well, especially for you.
Mm-hmm.
The other person, as you start to forgive them, there definitely is an energy. But I think it helps the person who's forgiving
Mm-hmm.
versus the one that's receiving the forgiveness much, much more.
Yeah.
So, did you have a particular question? We didn't talk about your career.
Yeah, but how does my year look?
Yeah. Well, your year is a 6 again, where you start, you're very similar in that case to Mariah, who called in earlier,
Mm-hmm.
where you really want to get doing something and you may start something and then all of a sudden you get pulled away from it because somebody needs you or you are dealing with a relationship or something along those lines. Next year, you have to be careful because you go into the same year as your friends, which is everything can kind of go wrong, does go wrong.
Yay.
Yay! And I have one of those years coming out too, so it's like I can't escape it either. And I'm coming off a 6 year, so it's all about learning more about yourself too. And this whole 2009 energy too is about learning what you can do that's different than you've been doing in the past.
Mm-hmm.
As people, we're so repetitive. We just want to do the same thing. We want to eat the same food. We want to park in the same parking places. We want to have the same
routine,
work.
yeah.
And the universe is going, this is not happening anymore. We're not doing this, yada, yada, yada. We're not continuing this. And as you can see within the last, I'd say probably 20 years, people have had more than one job usually. They've had one or two careers in their life. Maybe now there's going to be up to 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
So how well are we going to be able to deal with those changes? And I always tell people, please try not to get into the fear again of everything happening because there are reasons that it's happening, even though hindsight is 20/20. We won't know that
Until later.
until later. And the other part of it is too is that the universe is asking you to delve deeper into yourself. What is going on with you? Why do you need this sense of total security in your life? There's one thing I've learned in all these years. There's no such thing as security. Just not. It just doesn't happen.